The White House says that the U.S. is sending 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico as part of an effort to combat drug cartels.
Switching gears for now, Britain's Royal Air Force is facing sharp scrutiny as a new report has now put focus on the effectiveness and the future of its F-35 fighter jet fleet.
And now from trade to defense, Spain has shelved plans to purchase the U.S.-made F-35 fighter jets indefinitely.
Canada's defense story is about to surprise everyone. The quiet Swedish Gripen jet could shake up the balance of power. Rolls-Royce, a top engine maker, is stepping in, threatening to disrupt North American military ties. What began as a simple jet purchase is now a battle over power and control. For years, Canada planned to buy 88 American F-35s, keeping close to the U.S. and NATO. But costs, politics, and worries about independence reopened the door to the Gripen, cheaper, tougher, and built for Canada's harsh north. The problem, its engine is American, giving the U.S. control over its use. Now, Rolls-Royce may build a new engine for the Gripen, cutting U.S. ties and changing everything. This could redefine Canada's skies and its alliances. This development is about far more than mechanics. A Rolls-Royce engine would give the Gripen something it never truly had before: complete strategic independence. Without U.S. export restrictions or political vetoes, Sweden and its customers could finally field a fully sovereign aircraft. No hidden strings, no external permissions, and no interference from Washington. For Canada, that could be transformative. It would open the door to deeper cooperation with Britain and Europe, improve Arctic aboard G, performance, and reduce long-term supply chain risk tied to the United States. In essence, it would give Canada what every nation ultimately seeks: the freedom to defend itself on its own terms. If the Gripen gains a British-made power plant, its competition with the F-35 enters a new phase. The Swedish fighter becomes not only a cheaper option, but also one unburdened by the political weight of U.S. oversight. For a country like Canada, committed to NORAD and NATO, yet determined to protect its autonomy, that's no small advantage. What's emerging isn't only a contest between two jets. It's a reflection of shifting global influence. For decades, Washington has used its control over advanced technology to maintain strategic leverage across allied militaries. Every export license, every engine deal has been part of that web of control. If Rolls-Royce breaks that pattern, it will mark one of the most significant changes in Western defense in years. The numbers alone tell a striking story. The F-35 program, once hailed as the pinnacle of military aviation, has become a symbol of runaway costs. A Canadian audit found the total price tag rising nearly 40% from $19 billion to almost $28 billion since the deal was signed in 2022. Each plane carries an estimated lifetime, cost around $200 million. The Gripen E, on the other hand, costs a little over half of that while offering easier maintenance and faster turnaround times. Designed for flexibility, it can land on short strips of highway, refuel, rearm, and take off again in minutes. The engine can be replaced in under 40 minutes, and a small crew can keep it operational in conditions that would ground most advanced fighters. That's precisely why Ukraine, under constant aerial assault, has turned to Sweden's Green to bolster its defense. Built to counter Russian aircraft, the jet's design favors adaptability and simplicity over luxury. Sweden's military regularly practices highway landings, and its air bases are spread out to avoid being destroyed in a single strike. In Ukraine, where airfields are often targeted, that resilience makes all the difference. The Gripen was never built for deep penetration stealth missions. It was built to survive, respond fast, and fight smart. Now the debate in Ottawa is heating up again. Prime Minister Mark Carney is caught in a political storm. A trade war with President Donald Trump has already strained relations between the two neighbors, and the F-35 deal has become a flashpoint. The project's ballooning costs have drawn criticism across Canada, and pressure is building to explore alternatives. The Gripen offers one, and the longer the economic standoff continues, the more appealing that option looks. Tim Ripley, editor of Defense Eye magazine, summed up the sentiment bluntly. Canadians want to spend money with their friends, not with their increasingly hostile neighbor. Behind the diplomatic niceties, tensions are rising fast. Trump has already hinted at new tariffs, even calling Canada America's 51st state. If Canada shifts toward a Swedish jet, the political fallout could be immense. But many experts believe the financial case is hard to ignore. Military analyst Francis Tusa points out that Canada still has flexibility. Having paid for only 16 of the planned 88 F-35s, Ottawa isn't locked in completely. That leaves room for a mixed fleet. Some F-35s, some Gripens, balancing modern stealth capabilities with cost-effective versatility. CUSA calls Canada's position lucky, noting that the Gripen was built from the start to be affordable both to buy and to operate. With Ukraine planning to purchase up to 150 Gripens to strengthen its air force, Saab's production lines are expanding fast. Talks are already underway between Saab and Canadian manufacturer Bombardier to assemble some of those Ukrainian jets inside Canada itself, a move that could spark a new domestic aerospace revival. On paper, the Gripen even outperforms the F-35 in some key areas. Its combat range is about 1,500 km compared to the F-35A's not 110 km, a crucial factor for a country as vast as Canada. The Gripen also aligns better with Canada's existing hose and drogue aerial refueling system. Quebec and Ontario might handle the assembly, while western provinces like Alberta could produce components through companies such as de Havilland in Calgary. That distribution would make the project more inclusive, but would also raise costs and complicate logistics. Even so, the prospect of reviving a Canadian aerospace powerhouse is hard to ignore. The Gripen's arrival in Canada would mark more than a shift in aircraft. It would represent a statement of intent. It would signal that Canada is ready to regain control over its defense industry to build at home and to reduce dependence on a superpower that has grown increasingly unpredictable. Whether Canada ultimately moves forward with the Gripen or stays tied to the F-35, one truth is clear. This debate has reopened a deeper national question. It's not only about what Canada flies, but who controls its sky, its industry, and its future. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe for more and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.